Chapter 16, Part 2. Now let's look at a special use of the future. We don't really quite have anything like this in English, so we want to be aware of it so we don't get messed up. Sometimes the future tense is used to show what happened next after an important event somewhere in the past. So let's start off with a sentence. Jacques naquit en 1900. Okay, so naquit is the passé simple of naître, to be born. So James was born in 1900. Okay, so that's our statement of fact. That's our starting point. And now we want to tell a story, kind of with giving it action. Il mangera bientôt des biscuits. So here it says he will eat. That's the future tense of manger. Bientôt is soon, des biscuits. Now, biscuit is kind of like our word biscuit, biscotti. It means twice cooked. And, we often think of biscotti as quite sophisticated, but biscuit in French is not sophisticated. It's dried toast or teething biscuits. It's not a fun thing to eat. It's just kind of like something that you eat when you're sick or you give to your kid when they're first eating or having teething pains. So we could translate this. He was soon to eat some dried toast or teething biscuits. Literally, it says he will soon eat some dried toast, but we wouldn't say that after James was born in 1900. We would say he was soon to eat some dried toast, or he would soon eat dried toast. So here we're going to translate future as something different, indicating a succession of events that was future from the point of our start, but still very much the past. So that's the historical future. Now let's look at another tense, or actually this is another mood. It's not considered part of the indicative mood. It's a separate mood, the conditional. And it expresses an action that depends on another action. Let's take an example. Si j'étais intelligent, j'étudierais beaucoup. If I were intelligent, I étudierais. This is going to be the conditional. I would study a lot. So the condition was if I were intelligent. Now it's interesting. We say if I were intelligent. We could say if I was intelligent, because that's the normal way. You usually say I was rather than I were. But this is a remnant of the subjunctive in English, saying if I were intelligent. In French, we use the imperfect after C. And then we use the conditional here. But the idea is if I were intelligent, I would study a lot. So this idea of studying a lot is dependent on the condition that I was intelligent. So that's the idea with the conditional, is that it depends on some condition, even if that condition is not stated. How do we form the conditional? It's very similar to the future. You take the infinitive, minus the E for RE verbs, but otherwise you leave the ER or the IR there. And then instead of putting the present tense of avoir on it, you put the imperfect endings on it. So the conditional is going to look a lot like the imperfect, and it's closely associated with the imperfect, like we saw in the previous sentence. So the key to identifying the conditional is looking for an R that's from the infinitive plus the imperfect endings. So here's the conjugation. Je parlerai, I would speak. Tu parlerais, you would speak. Il parlerait, he would speak. Nous parlions, we would speak. So here we've got the IONS, because that's what we use for the imperfect, for the we form. Vous parleriez, you would speak, and il parlerait, they would speak. So notice how all of them have an R and an I in them in the ending. So that's what you look for the conditional is an R and an I. Now, there are some verbs that are irregular in the future in the conditional. And it turns out that the verbs that are irregular in the future are also irregular in the conditional, and they are irregular in the exact same way. They have a different stem. Now, it's a single stem for every form of the future and conditional, so that doesn't change. And the endings never change. So it's just the stem. So, of course, we have avoir and être. Il aura will be he has, or no, sorry, il a is he has, il aura is he will have, il aurait would be he would have. Être, we've got an S root. Il sera, he will be. Il serait, he would be. And then for aller, we have il ira, faire, il fera, pouvoir, il pourra. And of course, the crazy V verbs like vouloir are here. Il voudra, falloir, that's our il faut verb. Il faudra, it'll be necessary. Another V verb. Il verra, he will see. Il recevra, he will receive. Mourir is il mourra, he will die. Savoir changes quite a bit. It becomes il saura, he will know. And then tenir and venir that have similar conjugations. Again, they're similar change in the stem. Il tiendra, he will hold, and il viendra, he will come. So, au tableau, to your whiteboards and or your piece of paper perhaps, and you'll make a translation of all these. Now note that I've mixed together the future, and the conditional here. So pay attention to which one it is. Write down your answers and check them in the next video.